Okay, I'm gonna go first.
Hi, I'm Solveig Enrauderaufer.
I am Sir Matthias Alexandros Koska.
Yeah, I'll go first. So my name's Marcelo de Leon. It's a play on my mundane name, Marcel.
My SCA name is Brynjolf Bjarnason, and it's kind of an indication of how much of a nerd I am because Brynjolf was actually inspired by the Skyrim character.
Oh, hi, my name is Lord Jose de Berna de Torquemada, Alchemia de Citadel.
Yours is a handful.
So my name is Rodrigo de Saragossa, El Gallo Negro de Plata.
My name is Lady Phelim Inian Arlen, which is a very early Scottish Gaelic name. So my character is sort of a mix between that and the ancient Pictish culture, which is like a Celtic culture that lived in northern Scotland before, well, pre-Roman era and then post-Roman era, and then when the Gaels came over, they sort of took over. Sorry, I'm going into a history lesson again. I do that a lot.
The rules.
I believe it was when I read the rules 20 years ago.
Possible, yeah.
That's what your dad was asking me. So have you read the rules? And I'm like, 20 years ago I read the rules. Why do they gotta change so much?
It's certainly not a way to make any friends.
Right. Or make good friends who want to say hi to you often.
I don't know. Any contact's good contact for me, but you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Medieval studies focuses on the academic part, and we focus a little bit more on recreating what actually happened. So where a medieval studies person may focus exclusively on the impractical academic aspect of recreating a costume, we'll take that same research and try to recreate the costume or the piece of clothing ourselves.
What was cool about it is I got introduced to this entire arts community. So I'm a medieval armor, but if I need to make tools, I got a friend who's a blacksmith, and I get to go to him and learn history and make blacksmith tools, and then go back to my armor shop and make armor. And then when I want to do sewing, I can go to somebody who's a master in sewing and learn things that really bring the art home to me. So I'm not just reproducing their work. I learned something that let me go sew with my own brain and will and imagination, and it's just beautiful gifts all the way around.
My armor doesn't necessarily fit with my persona yet, because I haven't been fighting for very long. So it's kind of piecemealed together.
All of the armor that I'm wearing right now, I have actually made myself, except for these pauldrons, which were a hand-me-down. But everything else I've made. My helmet's over there, but that my knight and I actually made together.
So we are not only here to have a good time, but we're also here to educate and teach people on what happened in the Middle Ages. We're here to recreate the better parts, so we don't do like the plagues and various other things. Some people will play around with that occasionally, but for the most part, we're here trying to live up to the higher ideals. And that's probably one of the things that really drew me to the SCA.
A lot of teachers, you know, from way back then, and they wrote their styles like exactly how to fight the way they do, right? And very effective when you learn it, like super in depth with the dancing background and stuff like that. I can pretty much you get the concept and then you turn it into your own thing. So this does two things. You're creating your own, right? Which is cool, right? It's a very unique style, but it also makes your fight very unique. So it's hard to counter because people have never seen it before.
They've only fought like linear stuff, like all right, this is how the French fight, this is how the Spanish fight.
This is how the Italians fight, you know, but the German.
Weirdos like us are like, all right, cool, this is how we fight.
Like, just going out and just fighting can be really helpful. But I know this is sort of a martial arts principle. If you go out and you start, you know, striking and hitting and stuff like that, and you don't realize until it's too late that you've developed a muscle memory for how to strike or how to block or something like that. That's really bad. It's really hard to unlearn that sometimes. So if you can start off with like, okay, what's a proper stance? How do I strike without like hurting my arm or something like that? That can be really important, helpful information for you to know.
So we practice out here kind of in units, learn the commands, and when we go to war there's scenarios, so sometimes they're open field, which at Penzik it was like 400 versus 300. So that's kind of ginormous.
And so, unbeknownst to me, he takes me to the Estrella War, which is a war in Arizona that at one time was 10,000 people camping, 2,000 people aside fighting. It's a little smaller now. So he took me to this event, and I ran into this place where, wait a minute, fat, nice people are cool? And so it didn't take me long to kind of walk away from music. I mean, I was into it, I was a good musician, but this is a place where I really socially fit. And in the end, 26 years later, I met my wife here. I raised my kids here. Being in this club has helped me move my career forward, but most of all, it's rewarded me with a life full of friends, of people that I can truly respect. Not just a guy you meet at the dart club that you say hi to. These are people that will come to me when my car is broken down in the middle of nowhere.
So I'm actually a second generation SCAdian. Both of my parents were in it when they were younger, and it's just always really fascinated me. I've always had an interest in medieval history, and when I finally got old enough to kind of pursue my own interests, I thought, hey, the SCA would actually be pretty cool. I'm coming up on my 3-year anniversary.
I started doing this about going on 8 years now. I was in a bad place for a little while, and I met folks in here, and they've helped me out amazingly. Because of the SCA, I got myself a new job, got me a place and everything, because of support with the family. And I figured I'd stay because they like me. We got introduced doing this, and he's my best friend now. Right?
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
best, all right, cool, good. Very good. I'm just making sure.
Confirm.
I just
like-
telling random people that. They're like, he's my best friend. I'm not his best friend. Don't listen to him.
Cut that part out.
Yeah, edit that. No.
I got to row on a Viking ship, and that was like totally amazing because I'm like living my best Viking life rowing.
One of the funnest terms I ever heard for people in the SCA is we are militant nerds. You know, we're those little kids who always wanted to play with swords, and eventually you just couldn't stop us. And what was cool is somebody came up with a safe way where we could come out to a park and hit our friends with a stick and love each other for it.
That was a present. Oh shit! Yeah! Huzzah!
That's how you check somebody. Never mind. Okay, he got it in one go.
Yeah.
He's fucking straight.
I know, you're a brute. What? Don't shake your head. You stand out there proud. Yeah.